E Moto pit bikes from S to D. Hopefully this will help you pick out what Budget E Moto pit bike that you're going to get in the future. And we're going to be going through all the stats and why they're ranked upon their letter. And let's get into the video. Let's do this. Okay, so first we're going to start off with the Hey Bike Villain. Okay, guys, this is the Hey Bike Villain. I know the picture might be a little bit blurry, but I guess that's like the general look of the Hey Bike Villain. Okay, let's get into the stats now. Okay, so we're going to put Hey Bike Villain at A tier. I'm going to put it at A tier because it has a super fast charger and it has really good brakes, like stock brakes. And then also it has like reverse assist, so you can put it in reverse mode and it'll help you back up like out of your garage or out of like a parking spot, I guess. And let's look at the stats. Okay, so some of the stats for the Hey Bike Villain. It has a 4,160 watt motor, which is pretty impressive for the price. It has 190 newtons of torque. The top speed is 45 miles an hour. The range on the Hey Bike Villain is 50 miles, so it's going to last pretty long. The battery size is a 52 volt, 26 amp hour battery, which is pretty good. Price to power ratio is 30 to 34 cents per watt of peak power, which is pretty good for a bike that price. Okay, next we're going to move on to the Valentinsu EM5. Okay, so some of the stats for the Valentinsu EM5 is it has a 3,840 watt motor, peak power, and then the battery size is a 48 volt, 23.4 amp hour battery, which is like decent. It's like what most of the Budget E Motos are. And then the top speed on it is 40 miles an hour. The range of the Valentinsu EM5 is 37 to 40 miles, which is about 10 miles shorter of the Hey Bike Villain. It has 210 newtons of torque, and it's 30 to 60 cents per watt for the power to price. Okay, next we're going to move on to the Qrange X1 Spark, and this is what it looks like, but I really don't like the orange on it. Okay, so I'm going to put the Qrange X1 Spark in A tier. I'm going to put it in A tier because it has a crazy amount of torque that I'm going to show you in the stats, but it also suffers from a very slow charger, so you would probably have to buy an upgraded charger for it to charge faster. But other than that, it has crazy torque that I'm about to show you. Okay, let's move on to the stat. Okay, so it has a 4,500 peak power motor, and this is the crazy amount of torque. It has 283 newtons of torque, which is the most out of all of these bikes. The battery size is a 60 volt and I believe a 28.8 amp hour battery, which is pretty decent. The top speed is 40 plus. Some people have gotten it up to 50 plus miles an hour, but which is pretty fast if you ask me. It also has 60 miles of range, which is super surprising. Okay, next we're going to move on to the Yosma N10 Pro. And this is what the Yosma N10 Pro looks like. It looks pretty clean, all blacked out. And I am going to have to put it in S tier. I say S tier because it has a high voltage speed, a decently bigger frame than some of the other bikes, and it has super beefy tires for off-roading. It also has a lot of power. Okay, so let's get into the stats. Okay, so the watt of motor is 5,500 watts for peak power, which is pretty good. It also has 220 newtons of torque, which is also decent. It has a 60 volt, 27 amp battery, which is also pretty big. It's comparable to the Q-Ronge X1 Spark. The top speed on the Yosma N10 Pro is 50 plus miles an hour. It also has a range of 60 plus miles, which is pretty far. Okay, next is going to be the Anyland Rev Pro. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so I wanted to put this in A tier, but also B tier. So I'm going to put it in the middle of A and B tier. And let's get into the stats of it. Okay, first, it has a 3,000 watt peak power motor, which is super good. And also the reason I put it in A and B tier is because it has auto wheelie mode, which is super good. And the price of the bike is super cheap, and the controller in it is like $1,000, and the bike is super cheap with an $1,000 controller. Like, what? Okay, it has 160 newtons of torque, and it goes 34 miles an hour, which is decent. Of 48 miles, and that's the stat of the Anyland Rev Pro. I think it's probably one of my favorite bikes on here. Like look-wise and like performance-wise, like my personal preference. But I just had to put it in A and B tier. Okay, next we got the Tudio Celio 01, and this is what it looks like. And let's get into the rankings of it. Okay, I'm gonna put it in C tier. I'm gonna put it in C tier because it like lacks the electronics that are founded in like the Hey Bike Villain and the Anyland. So it lacks a lot of like technology in it. But the Tudio is also super moddable. aka Tudio is like one of the best Tudios in the world. No competition. Shout out to him if he's watching. Okay, let's look at the stats of it. It has a 3,000 watt motor, peak power. It also has 200 newtons of torque, which is decent. It goes up to 40 miles an hour, and it has 45 plus miles of range. Okay, next is the Zonveer DX1, and that's what it looks like. Let's go over the ranking and stats of it. Okay, I'm also going to put it in C tier. It's also pretty lightweight, and it's better for most younger riders. Okay, it has a 3,000 watt peak motor. It also has 273 newtons of torque. It also gets up to 40 miles an hour with 40 miles of range. It has a 48 volt, 20 amp battery. Okay, next is the Next V Flash. And it honestly looks like a mini Sur-Ron LBX. Okay, let's get into the ranking of this. Okay, I'm going to rank this bike A tier. I'm going to rank this bike A tier because it looks incredibly clean, and especially the Pro version of it. It's so clean. The only reason why it's not an S tier is because it only has a 48 volt battery, but you could also upgrade the battery. I've personally heard that it hits up to 50 miles an hour, but the stats say it only goes 40. The range on the Next V Flash is 35 miles, which is pretty short compared to the other bikes. It has a 4,000 watt peak motor. The Next V Flash also has assisted wheelie like the Anyland Rev Pro. It also has pretty average torque. It has 160 newtons of torque, and it looks super clean compared to all the other bikes. Okay, that's the end of this video. If any e-bike brands are watching, please sponsor me, like please. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Catch me back in another video. Bye.